to the hinges of your 370Z. Comes with 2 of these little clips. Comes with this little ball joint. It comes with, of course, your full length gas shock. 1 of these on each end. And then those little pins go into there. And then goes across there, so that way it locks everything in. And then it came with these 2 little washers. These are way too small. They will not fit on here. So what you're gonna have to do is get some thicker, bigger diameter ones as far as the hole's concerned, and thicker. So that way it'll lift up this ball high enough to clear your plastic. So here's what I did. So what I did is I put the washer under here. So I didn't put it on top of the plastic only because I didn't want this to mushroom out, and I wanted to tighten securely. So the washer's under there, and then I tighten this down. This is like a rubber piece right here, so you could tighten on top of that. It doesn't matter, it's rubber, it's gonna flare out anyway. So once I did that, I took a grinder. I have a you could use a Dremel tool or whatever, but you're gonna have to grind this out, so that way when you set the shock in here and set it on top, it lays down flush in here. So as you can see, it lays down flush, and then when this is completely all the way down, it will allow. So with that little hinge area right there where the ball is, this clips onto here, and when it comes all the way down like that, it'll come across and it'll allow this to sit down. What was happening was this radius here, this little step, was hitting on this shaft right here, and it would pop this up, so it would not allow the gas shock to close. And if the gas shock wasn't able to compress, it was actually bending the shaft this way, because when the hood came down, it would hit on this little ridge right here. So this little ridge, and it would cause it to arc. And when it arced, it was bending the shaft, and you don't want to bend that shaft because you may ruin the seals here, and then all your gas is going to leak out, and then you're going to have to buy new ones. So grind that out, do the same for both, and I'll show you what that looks like after I'm done. You're going to need a number 12 socket right here to take off those 2 bolts. So all you need to do is take off the top 2. Don't take off that one down there because it's not going to help you any, and then you're going to have to reposition your hood. So take off the 2 and put them back on. A number 12 works for those nuts up there. If you have paint, like mine had a lot of paint on them from the factory, so I actually used a 13 to crack it loose. So I cracked those loose with the 13. But eventually the paint kind of wore down, and I went with the number 12, and I was able to tighten them up. So just use the number 12 for that. And you're gonna have this little clip here, so you're gonna need a flat blade, and that was right there. This is what it looks like over here. So you take it off here, and then you take this and this nut off, and you want to jack up your car. So if you look right here, I have my car jacked up, and it is, as you can see, I have 2 blocks. So if you look right there, I have the 2 blocks right there, so that way my pinch wall right there won't get crushed. So I used 2 little blocks and then lifted it. So I do that, and then you can look up in here, and right about here, right there is where the nut comes out. To make sure that this is going to work, connect it down to the bottom one, and then take your strut and lay it down flat. So if it lays down flat, you know, and there's no gap in there except the gap from this that's just lifting it up. As long as this sits pretty flush with your plastic, you know it's going to clear. The issue I had was right here. As you can see, I dremeled that out. There's like a ridge. So see that? There's a ridge. and when it was fully closed, it was hitting on this ridge, and it was hitting on this ridge. So I dremeled that down because this sleeve right here was hitting right there. And as you can see, if you lay it down, it clears now. Lay it down there, it clears right there. And as you can see, it's in line with this ball joint here, so everything's in line. And what it was doing is after I did this, it allowed it to sit down, but without dremeling this part out, your hood right here was starting to bow because it was pushing pressure on the shock, keeping it up, and it was arching the hood more than it was arching the hood, and it shouldn't have arched the hood. And the way I could tell was when you look at it from this angle, you could see the hood bubble right in this area, right next to this brace. So I was putting an arch right here, and over time you're gonna start denting your hood, and it may crease it, or it may dent it right here and pull it up. So make sure you dremel this part out, and you dremel this part out where this indentation is. So I'm gonna install the other side, and I'll show you what that looks like. So on here you take this little ball area, and for that top one, it's gonna basically face this way like this. It's gonna slide up in there and clip over around that loop right there. So this goes this way and then snaps around. Come off, put them on the same way.